Hey folks, I'm Robert Quinn, your semiconductor industry ambassador on LinkedIn. I'm here at Semicon West 2025 in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm here with Jessica, the CEO of Rogue Valley. But you know, Jessica, the thing is that MEMS and sensors are going into everything. They're going into all the vehicles. They're going to be going into all the robots. They're going to be going into everything. Who is Rogue Valley? What are you doing? And tell me about your expansion, and tell me about the services that you're providing. I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so company's 22 years old this year. We are a MEMS foundry, so we're basically a contract manufacturer. We work with customers all over the globe. We work with customers from like almost all the different sectors of the semiconductor industry, which has been fascinating over the last several years. Just really seeing, what technologies are being developed, how they're being used, that development and research cycle, and then watching things be commercialized.
Right.
It's been a really fascinating process and a great education for us and our engineering team. So yeah, that's really what we do, and we start pretty early on in that process with customers. Sometimes our customers don't have a chip that's been made yet. Sometimes we're working off a design. Other times we're doing tech transfer, and so each project is unique and a little different. That's kind of just the name of the game when it comes to MEMS Foundry.
Absolutely.
And it's been great. So we have a facility in Medford, Oregon, and we're actually building a new facility in Palm Bay, Florida. And that facility is going to be pretty special. It's going to be a 200 and 300 millimeter bridge facility for specifically MEMS manufacturing.
This is great.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, Jessica, this technological evolution is just a tsunami moving at us, and it's moving at light speed. You know, I post and write on LinkedIn every day about the semiconductor industry and who's doing what and where things are going. And I'm posting 3 times a day, 365 days a year, but I feel like I could be posting 9 times a day, 365 days a year. I mean, just keeping up with the evolution of this technology and how fast the change is happening. You know, what is it? In your industry, what does it take to keep up with that change?
It really forces this balance between creativity and discipline, right?
Yeah.
Because you're constantly having to learn, you're constantly pushing your engineering team to think outside the box. How do we solve this problem? How do we incorporate new materials into the fab? Many people don't realize that the semiconductor manufacturing is very different than MEMS manufacturing. I kind of liken it's like, the difference between downhill skiing and like freestyle snowboarding. Like,
right.
You're kind of going downhill in snow, but everything else is pretty different. And so one of the challenges we have is how to get the flexibility out of the semiconductor equipment that's really needed to perform well in MEMS manufacturing. And that's not so simple, especially when you're dealing with a very high mix of devices that you're making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's great, man. Jessica, I thank you so much for joining me today. And I just wanted to introduce Jessica to the semiconductor world that's following me on LinkedIn, and talk about Rogue Valley, what you're doing, and all the great work that you're doing and the growth. I'm so happy to see this and happening in the USA, and all the work that you're doing here is incredible. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.